Welcome back to our AI in Action Building with Copilot Studio series. In this video, we'll cover multilingual agents. When you're in Europe or other parts of the world, you might want to know how you can set up your agent in multiple languages. And that's what I'm going to show you today. Let's move to my desktop and show you everything about it. Okay, here we are on the Copilot Studio homepage. Let's first go to the Create tab to show you how you can create an agent and change the language. Let's select New Agent. This will land us in the conversational experience to create an agent. What we can do here is we can answer a bunch of questions, and then by that, we can configure our agent. As you can see, on the right hand side, you will see the language. And by default, the language is English. When I click on Edit Language, I can change the primary agent language. So I can change this to one of the languages that you can see here in a dropdown. For instance, I could change this into Spanish and then save it, and it will have the language Spanish here. And then when I configure this whole agent, I can create it and the default language will be Spanish. This is really important to notice that once created, the primary language cannot be changed. So you will create the agent, you will set the language there, and you can change that later on. You can, though, add languages to that agent. And let's show that in detail. So let's cancel this one. Let's cancel out of the agent creation. And now I would like to start creating an agent by using a template. So let's go to Home and then click on Team Navigator. This is one of the templates that are available out of the box. And what I can do here is I can already connect to my data by using the Office 365 users connector. And I can set up a connection by clicking on the three dots and then on Edit. This will open up the connection setup window and it will load the connection for me. Now I can only click confirm to make sure that the connector is connected to the data source. Now I can also click on create, but before I do that, I want to show you the edit language button here. As you can see, the language is English, and when I hit edit language, I can see the same box that we just saw when we were creating our own agent. But when I click on it, you can see that only English is available and all the others are disabled. So I can change this to a different language. Only English is available. But I don't have to fear because I can create this agent now and I can wait for a little while until the agent is completely set up. And here we are, it's already there. And what I can do now is I can already see it's in English, but what I can also do is I can hit settings and then go to languages. And here I can add multiple languages. So what I can do now is I can have the English primary language and I can add extra languages. So I can, for instance, add Dutch. That's where I'm from the Netherlands. And I can add French, for instance. And when I hit add, it will add those two languages to the agent. In this case, I only want to configure the Dutch one, so I can also delete the French language and remove that from the agent. Now let's configure the Dutch language. Let's select Upload under Localization, and that will open a side panel. And what I can see here is that I can download the existing translations for Dutch. I have two options here. I can download it as a JSON file or as a resx file. I can edit the localization file as needed, and then I can upload it again to apply the updates to the agent. So let's start by downloading the localization file as JSON. And let's also do that for resx. And now I'm going to open it in VS Code to show you how it looks. Here we are in Visual Studio Code or VS Code, and I already opened the localizations.json and the localizations.resx files that we just downloaded. When I click on localizations.json, what we can see here is that we see a lot of English. So every line here is basically one of the lines that we need to translate. So if I go to the right, here it says, "What can I ask?" And the next one also says, "What can I ask?" So if I want the Dutch language to be there, I should translate this from "What can I ask?" to the Dutch version of that sentence. The same goes for all the other lines. So as you can see here, there is a first part. "Hello, I'm system.botname," and system.botname is a variable. So that's why it has those little hooks around it. A virtual assistant. "I'm thrilled to be your go-to guide for all things related to our company's organization," etc., etc., etc. So if we want to translate that, we can do that. And to show you how that works, I'm going back to Copilot Studio to show you how it actually looked in the UI there. So I'm going to close this pane. I'm going to go back to the test your agent part, and it should show, let me refresh this one. It should show the welcome message. "Hello, I'm Team Navigator Copilot, a virtual assistant. I'm thrilled to be your go-to guide," etc. So if I want to change this to Dutch, I need to change that in Visual Studio Code. So let's do that. Here it says hello. So I'm going to change that to hallo, which is the Dutch word for hello. And "I am," that is ik ben. And then the system bot name, we don't have to translate that because that's a different variable. So we don't change that here. And here I can change to een virtuele assistent, which is the Dutch language for it. And I'm not going to change the whole thing, but you get the gist. So you can change all these strings here to make it a Dutch version. But for now, I'm just going to save this one. And I'm going to go back to Copilot Studio to upload it and to show you the differences between those two languages now. So we're going back to settings, back to languages, and here I'm going to click upload. Now I want to, of course, browse to get the same JSON file that we just had. So let me just do that. And here we go. Localizations.json is now added. And I'm going to select upload translation updates. And when I do that, it will give me the message, well, doing so will overwrite all past localizations. And that's no problem because I haven't updated anything. So let's update this one and let's wait a little while before it's loaded. There we go. It's already updated and I can hit close. And now I can also close this settings window. And what I can do now is I can also change to a different language. And how do I do that? I haven't showed you that before, but here it says, "Hello, I'm Team Navigator Copilot, a virtual assistant." We translated that, but it's not visible here. And that's because we haven't changed the language. You can click on more, and then we can go to language. And this is available because we added the Dutch language. So whenever you add a language in settings, that's when this toggle appears. Because normally you just have one language and now we have two. So this is how we can change the language. So now I can change to Dutch, for instance, and then it will load again. And here we can see that it says, "Hallo, ik ben Team Navigator Copilot, een virtuele assistent." And that's the Dutch translation that I just updated in the localization. And that's how you can create multilingual agents in Copilot Studio. Thanks for watching and make sure to subscribe to the Microsoft Power Platform channel to receive a notification of when the next episode in our AI in Action Building with Copilot Studio series is posted. See you then. Bye bye.